Hey everyone, it's James from the Fit RV, and today we're bringing you the last of the 20K build videos. There will be another 20K video a couple months down the road where I show you what we can do and what it's like living with that much battery power. But this is the last of the build videos. And so how do you finish off 20,000 watts of battery power? You do it with a Dinette Remodel. And so you're gonna see a whole lot of woodworking, kind of practical woodworking, like not just building a chair, but incorporating it into the RV. There's a lot of that, show you detail around that. The other thing you're gonna see is the initial burn-in test that I did of the electrical system, where basically I just pushed it hard all day long just to see if anything would melt, break, catch fire, fail, or do whatever. And it didn't, we're still here, but you're gonna see that. Now, this video came at the end of the build, so I've been on camera for like 3 weeks trying to remember to wear a microphone every time I went outside. And so I kind of forgot sometimes. So it might seem a little disjointed, there'll be bits here and there, but I tried to piece it together so hopefully you can follow along. So with all that, there's not much else to say, so let's get to it. Okay, so seating. I don't have much of a plan as far as the seating goes, other than I know we need it. This is the extent of my plan. That's what I got. So roughly, what I need, so let's say here's the wall that backs up to the bathroom, and then there's that wall. That wall I know is roughly 48, and that's roughly 38. The batteries are all stacked up here, like that. So what I need to do is I need to build an L-shaped bench. It's kind of like that. So places where I have concerns are this whole wall. I'm gonna have to figure out how to mount things because it's gonna be a plywood, top that's gonna drop in. So I'm gonna have to find something sturdy in this wall that I think I can mount to so that we won't fall through when we sit on it. This wall I'm okay on. This corner, and in fact, all of these corners, I'm gonna pay special attention to. Now, I noticed something when I was taking apart the EKKO. I noticed this, which is something that they did at Winnebago with the CNC. They made little stub tenons on their plywood parts, so that like this one I think went here on the old bench and like plugged in like that. And then they made little matching, stub mortises on their plywood parts. And I thought, wow, that's really clever. I could do that with CNC. It would take me freaking forever because I'm still not that fast with it. But what I do have is I do have dominoes, which actually makes little tenons, and I can just fit them dry. And I think that's actually a fantastic way to go about building some of this seating, because you want to be able to disassemble it, because if anything ever goes wrong with this whole system, I'm going to need to work on it. So I'm going to build it with an eye towards disassembly. So I've got dominoes, which I'll show you, and they're going to be like little tenons that will dry fit into these corners. Maybe not these on the wall, but these three for sure. I've also got like little corner braces, you know what I'm talking about, the things that look like this, and then there's like this, on the underside and with screw holes. So I'm going to put those here and maybe here, depending on what's in this part of the wall, and certainly here. So we've got some corner braces that I'll be working in there. And then I bought some more aluminum angle. So because then I'm going to also have to anchor things to the ground or the floor of the RV. So I've got some angle that will be mounting things to the ground, here, 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 kind of thing. So that's as much of a plan as we have right now. Fortunately, I work fine without plans, so I'm sure we'll be okay. But if you look over here, we can see I've already been to the home center, and we have some links of 1x material. I bought more than I thought I would need. We've got aluminum angle in two different widths. Ta-da. Yeah, those are the corner brackets I talked about. And then we've got this stuff over here, which I have saved because I thought it might be useful. So these are parts that came out of the EKKO, and I've been saving them specifically, looking at these corner pieces, right? Because thinking they might be helpful. One area where I have, not a concern, but where I'm gonna want to do something is, some of these, a 4-foot long bench seat just supported around the middle. I'm a little concerned it might sag in the middle, right? And so I think this, which would be rather rigid, could go in that area, provided I could find something to mount it to. And then bench seat can rest on top of that as well as around the perimeter. So we've got lots of options and I've got all day to do it. So here we go. All right, we're sort of at a checkpoint here, and I eventually had to turn the batteries off. They were making me too nervous. We still got power because the inverter's on, but all that's closed up, so these are no longer live. Anyway, so this is sort of the outline of what the bench is going to look like, and I've got the dominoes, which you could just think of as dry tenons, and they're little dry pieces of wood, pegging all these together, and it looks kind of okay. So I think the next thing I need to do is to take these all back into the shop, clean up my marks where I had made marks to machine them, and add some edge banding around the edges and the tops, and a duct, a hole for the Truma. In the original Winnebago plan, the Truma duct was exiting, well here it is, it's right here, it was kind of exiting over here. And I don't know, in our Travato, I liked it when like the warm air would blow on my feet in the morning. So I'm gonna relocate that duct to over here. So I'm gonna drill that hole while I've got everything disassembled. It'll be easier that way. And then once I get that done, it's just a matter of screwing them in. All right. Okay, so we've got this in, and that's pretty sturdy, and it actually came out kind of square, and I'm kind of happy with it, so that's good. But I need to, so on all these sides, I'm okay with where I can mount things because I have to put in a support for the seat, plywood that'll make up the top. Except over here, this wall is just like 1/4 inch thick Luan, and I don't necessarily trust that for me to be sitting on it. So I know there is metal in this wall because I inadvertently hit some when I mounted this outlet box, and I was like, ooh, hey, metal. So I know there's metal in there, which would be perfectly sturdy and fine to mount things to. I just need to find it. And the metal that's in there is not steel because I've been like 20 minutes with magnets trying to find it, and I couldn't find anything. So this is like just comical, but I'm just going to start drilling holes until I hit metal. So that's the plan because I don't have a better plan. So here, it'll be below the seat, and this is just a 1/16 inch drill bit, but it'll be enough to let me know when there's metal, and when I find metal, I'll mark it, and then I'll know, okay, that is where you can mount something. So here we go. I know there's one over here somewhere-ish. I have to stay below this tiny red line that I don't know if you can see it or not. Nope. 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 That's weird. There was metal right over here. Nope. 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 Well, isn't this just ducky? So after all that, I found two places where there's metal backing. There's one there, and there's one there, which is weird because I hit metal here. I guess it just must run horizontally or something. And I know there's metal or something back in here because this is where the old table was mounted, but apparently it just runs there and stops because there's nothing there. So yeah, I got to figure something out. We'll see what I come up with.
Ta-da. So for the first time in like a few weeks, I guess, it's possible to sit in the dinette area of number one. You can sit here, and there's enough room. It's like 16 square there, and then you can sit, you can lounge all over the place on this, right? This is like 22 inches by, this is 48-ish. So, I discovered a new use for my CNC router, and that's if you're working in an area that is not exactly square and one side of your rectangle needs to be 445 millimeters long and the other side needs to be 449 millimeters long, you can cut that. And it's exact. It's great. It's awesome. So anyway, yeah, cut this out of Baltic birch. All plywood should be Baltic birch. This is the flattest, straightest, most awesomest stuff ever. And yeah, we're good to go. Got the seat belt in and going. That seems to work. We did a quick test fitting of the super cool Italian table,
and that's going to work as well. So all I have to do is make a top for it, and then we can bolt stuff down. And fortunately, the cushions are not my job. That I'm leaving that to Steph to come up with cushions. So once we have this seat, that's good enough for me. So all right. Okay, we're fast closing in on the end of this project. Come on in. A couple things to show you. First, this is like pretty much done. We're still needing some cushions and stuff. We're trying some things out, but this is pretty much done. So, I don't know if you noticed, but we've moved the van. The van is no longer under the carport. The van is out here because I wanted to test the solar. So, also the air conditioning is running. We're running on the inverter now and have been for just over 5 hours. So, at just over 5 hours, the battery app says I've got about 8 hours left. So it's looking like we're going to get like 13 hours of air conditioner runtime with solar. So that's pretty cool. The other thing is, let's check the solar, which I can do on this app. Solar right now, we are getting just over 200 watts. It's kind of an overcast day here, so that seems reasonable to me. So 200 watts coming in, and let's check on the inverter, which I can also do in this app. And let's look at the details. All right, the inverter right now is pulling 124 amps and putting out 1436 watts. So all seems normal. The temperature on the inverter is only up to 39 degrees Celsius. It was 37 this morning when I started, so it's not heating up too much out there in the compartment. Speaking of, let's go out and have a look at that inverter compartment. Okay, here we are. This is the inverter compartment. And it says it's 104, 105 in here on this little fan. The fan is cranking. It's about actually 96, 98, 94, something like that outside. So it's pretty warm out here. And let's see. Now it says battery temperature is 39 degrees Celsius. That's not correct. The batteries aren't that. I don't have the battery temperature sensor hooked up to this, so I'm thinking it's just giving me the inverter temperature, which is about 102, and that's sort of what it is in here. So I'm pretty happy that this, I mean, it's warm. I wouldn't want to sleep on that, but I'm thinking we're okay here. It seems to be holding its own. And we've been, like I said, we're in at 5 hours now, so we're still going. So that's what's going on the electrical. The other thing I've got to show you is in the shop on the furniture side. So come on this way. Okay, I don't know if y'all remember the sexy Italian table that was in like an earlier video, but I got it figured out. So there's this cable that has some tension on it. And when the handle is, there's this handle, I had to string the cable right. And when that's done, then this table moves. If I flip the handle, puts tension on the cable, and the table doesn't move. So the table is properly moving or not moving in all of its different planes of motion and rotational axes. Then over here, I've been working on what will go on top of the table. And this is some of that, it's not, I don't know if you call that plywood or what. It's not technically like plywood like you think of it, but it's like a bamboo board. And so this is the tabletop. And I'm also making a smaller one that will be a much smaller top for the Lagoon table. It's kind of on the passenger's seat side. So these will be finishing with the sanding and clear finish, and attaching them to the tables, and then we're off because we're supposed to leave in like 4 days. So anyway, that's it for now. Wish me luck. Bye. Okay, we're coming up on 9 o'clock at night, and the EKKO has been running on inverter power and battery all day long. So let's see how we're doing. Everything still seems normal here inside. If I am to check the inverter right now, solar's not doing anything because I pulled it under the carport. The inverter is still using 108 amps from the batteries, putting out 1250 watts or so. Not too shabby. And if we look at the batteries, what's our state of charge? We'll just take one of them. Battery number 19 is at 30%. And it says we've still got 3 hours and 47 minutes to go. And since we've already been almost 11, so that's what, 11, 12, 13, 14 hours and 47 minutes. That's kind of a long time. Are all the batteries saying that? Let's look at battery 18. It seems to be the weak link, 27%. Still, 3 hours and 49 minutes. So yeah, we could go for a while yet. So I'm guessing we've got a good solid 14 hours at least of air conditioning on battery power, and everything still seems normal. Nothing's heating up. I should check the temperature on the inverter while I'm here. I think it's cooled down since earlier today. Yeah, 38 degrees Celsius. So still right around 100 degrees in its little cramped up compartment, but the fan is going, it's keeping cool. So that's still going on, and I'm kind of getting bored of it. So I'm probably going to shut it down here in a while because it's just a long freaking time that this can run. But there's the other thing to show you. So there's a tent. It's a spray shelter. So I've decided I wanted to spray. These are the tabletops for both the little table by the passenger seat and the dinette. And I decided I want to spray them rather than brush it on by hand because I'm not a big fan of brush strokes and whatever. So in an effort to keep bugs and dust and just crap in general off of them while I spray them, I have erected this tent. And I've been practicing. I used to spray all the time, and then I kind of fell out of it. And so I've been practicing on this little bit here, which I put on a very thin coat, and it's not running or dripping. So I think I'm okay to try the real stuff. So here we go.
All right, so can you hear this? Maybe, I don't know. All right, so this is a conversion gun. It's a high volume, low pressure gun, but it actually runs off my big compressor in the closet. And I've got a light just so I can make sure I'm seeing stuff. There goes nothing. I'm practicing on the bottom first. So if I totally screw this up, it's not the top. That actually looks really good. I'm going to leave that alone because it looks really good. Wow. Okay.
So it's a water-based finish. It's not like I'm not spraying polyurethane or lacquer or anything really toxic in here. It's just water-based. But it does kind of cloud things up, so I've opened the garage door. So I'm going to open the other one too. We'll let it blow out in here. Although it's a bit humid, so I'm not really digging the doors open thing. Anyway, maybe that's it for tonight. We'll take a look at it in the morning, and if this worked, I'm going to do the top side in the same way. So now we find the real reason why we went with a pedestal table, and that's so that I can wrap it as a scratching post for His Royal Highness Mel. I'm going to try to do this without any glue. Just going to wrap it with what they call a whip kind of a thing. So it's just going to be wrapped, and then I'll pull it back through. So I've made a loop here, and I'm just going to start wrapping. But I might need an extra hand, so you might lose your camera person. Top, put my tail end, I estimated the amount of rope pretty well. Put my tail end through the loop. Now the idea is I pull on this rope and it pulls this end inside, and then the friction of it all holds everything together. I don't think I'm going to get much more than that. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think I can just cut that and see if I can pull it in, and we call it good at this point, because it's pretty snug. Okay, and all of that brings us to today. So before we check out the finished dinette, let's remind everyone what it looked like when we started. So this is like a stock EKKO here. You can see there's just the table propped out of the wall and some very functional automotive style seating with 3-point belts there. That's what it was before. So let's check out what we've got now. And this is it. So first, to get this table kind of out of the way, you can see we've got very much an L-shaped dinette here, and this table is everything. This sexy Italian table that we got from Lippert is everything you think it should be. Now, most of the time when I'm working, I find myself sitting over here on this section of it and working sort of like that. Although on occasion I switch it up, work over here if I want a wider desk, and sometimes even if it's like really lazy, I'll sit over here in the corner. And I know it's only 48 inches, but this is legitimately long enough to do like loungy kind of stuff, even for me. I'm like, what, 5'9", 5'10". So it's long enough to sort of lounge with. So that's the dinette. Now there is, I didn't mention it in the other part of the video, but there is some storage that I built under this seat. So if we remove that cushion and remove this top, you can see here that with the space that was over the battery, I built a shallow storage compartment, and we've got some parts in there for another video that you'll see eventually. Now these are the cushions that Steph had made for this, and there's a fabric, which I guess Steph actually designed, so props to Steph for the cushions and the fabric. There's a matching curtain in the back, so we kind of tie things together. That's the dinette. Mel, by the way, does enjoy his scratching post down below. Now, you also saw me making another table, this smaller table, to go on the Lagoon mount. And it's quite a bit smaller, so it doesn't take up so much room. We can even kind of leave it there when the seats turn around and we're driving, and you can still get by. But it is big enough for like an iPad and a beverage. Trust me on that, I've seen it lots of times. So I also made this for the table. So now this, basically when you pull this table off, it kind of slidey in like so. And I put some carpet in there so it doesn't rattle around while we're driving. So Lagoon table out of the way. Great. And I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. Let me show you this. We have, like a lot of folks, van-made shades that we put in the cab windows. But when we're driving, or when we don't have them in there, I made this little, it's like a 4-sided box. There's no top and no bottom. But this is what we sort of keep the van-made shades in, just right behind the driver's seat. So there you go. That's kind of the finishing touches on the 20K project. I guess that's really going to do it. Well, like I said, we will have another video coming in a month or two when we'll tell you what it's like to live with so much battery power. Hint, it's awesome. And that's going to do it for now. So this is James from the Fit RV. See you later. Bye.